Hey, welcome back to Dear Twin Flame. It's March 23rd. It is Tuesday. It is a beautiful day. And yeah, welcome to spring. um, so today I just want to talk to a letter from a viewer who's become a friend. And don't want to read the actual letter because it's really just a conversation between she and I. But in it, she asked a couple questions that I thought I would address on the channel. So the biggest one was, how do I know that my current relationship is an actual twin flame and not a false twin flame, not a karmic partner, or a soulmate? And I think I've talked about the difference between them all in previous videos, but just generally, I've had them all. So I've had the experience of soulmates. We have lots of them that pass through our lives, both romantic, friendships, even parents, children, siblings. They're all souls that are destined to walk a path in your life and make a difference in your world. Karmic partners are usually people who you have unfinished, unresolved traumas from the past with. And yeah, you usually know them. Once you start doing your inner work and facing your childhood traumas or ancestral traumas, it's pretty clear what relationships in your life were meant to teach you some of those lessons and heal you from those wounds. False twin flame, had one of those too. Definitely believe without a doubt that my ex-husband is a false twin flame. We had very similar connections, just in how the universe kept putting him in my path to bring it back, and he'd bring up crap and all sorts of things. And I felt at the time, even though I didn't know what twin flames were, I definitely feel like he presented himself as a twin flame. But moving forward, I realized the key difference between a false twin flame and a twin flame is that a twin flame or a false twin flame will tears you down repeatedly, and it's not a relationship that builds you up in any way. Whereas a twin flame is definitely, it might trigger you, but is definitely meant to heal your wounds, not cause more. So, as much as the synchronicities of what you would find when meeting your twin flame apply with my false twin flame, that's the key difference on why I know he was not my actual twin flame. How do I know that this relationship that I talk to on this channel is my twin flame? Well, our initial meeting, it was intense. The eye contact, huge signal. When he and I made eye contact, it was everything I could do not to try to crawl into a hole. Not because it was a bad thing, but because I felt like everyone around could see that he was literally seeing into the depths of my soul, and I was naked for the whole world to see. That's what it felt like. It was intense. It was, at the time, it felt wrong because we were both in other relationships. And even though literally we're just looking at each other across the room, it felt like everyone and everything around us could tell that we were connected, and that magnetic draw was huge. Other people definitely commented or noticed the energy between us, even though we had no physical, like, where there was no making out in public. Others just would see us in a room together, and there was accusations of infidelity, and people, friends even saying, will you two just get on with it already, because the tension's too much, or the energetic noise is intense. Like when you guys are around each other, you just it's just loud. You need to do something about that. Um, the other thing, physically, when I was near him, I would, and I was quite open about this with both his wife and my husband. I didn't understand it. It was very confusing for me. But when we were in proximity of each other, I need to sit next to him. I needed to sit next to him because if I was across the room or across, even outside, just across a fire pit from him, um, the pull in my heart chakra and in my gut, it felt like I was gonna vomit. It felt like everything in me was gonna be pulled out if I didn't get closer to him, just like a magnet. Um, and just sitting next to him, no touching required, just sitting next to him would alleviate those symptoms. Like they were full on physical illness. It was crazy. Um, so there's that. What else? I've got a list. um, yeah. So other people noticed eye contact, huge, that pull between us. Um, when we would be in each other's company, if he would take my hand, even, I was reminiscing about this and thinking about different things that I miss about being with him, and just the simple act of taking my hand, it felt like the world would all of a sudden go into technicolor. It felt like everything was complete. It felt like I had a clear understanding of everything, and everything went into technicolor, and all was right with the world. Um, like I had all the answers. Um, and then when we're apart, everything goes to grays. I mean, yes, there's colors, but everything's just duller. It's not as intense. It's like there's a veil over everything that you just can't get a clear picture. Sometimes you can make it out and sometimes you can't. But when we're together, that sense of completion, that sense of um, awakening, that veil is just lifted and everything's just amazing. I can't explain it any more than that. It's just, it's strange. Um, Another reason I believe this is a twin flame journey is because when we met, it triggered all of my crap to come. It it triggered me to not be able to bury it anymore. So all the things that were, childhood traumas, all the things that my false twin flame was needling on, um, I stood up for myself. I basically said, no more. I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this anymore. And he was in shock because I had, for years, just that's who I was. I was that, I was pushable, sort of, for lack of a better word. And after meeting my twin flame, and really, I don't know any one conversation or any one thing that changed it, but it just shifted my path. It shifted my path in a huge way. It triggered all the things that I was allowing to hold me back, to blow up. My marriage blew up, not right at that time, after our friendship, after my friendship with my twin flame was forced to come to an end because of our relationships with our spouses, which everything for a reason. Um, I was faced to face. I was forced to face all the things that I was allowing to hold me back from being my true self, and didn't sit very well with my husband. Um, it triggered things within him, I guess, as well, and I wasn't willing to follow that path anymore. So marriage ended. It took a long time, years. This is a process, definitely a process, but it triggered other things too, other childhood traumas, um, past life traumas, all sorts of things have come to the surface. But if it hadn't been for meeting my twin flame, I truly believe that wouldn't have happened. He not only did he introduce me to people who have helped me in my journey, but he's been a reflection that I've been forced to say, instead of looking at him and saying, why isn't he fixing this? I look at him and say, I see that, and then I see that in myself, so I need to fix myself. It's an interesting dynamic, to say the least. But it's got me to where I am now, and I am definitely in a different place. So much, yeah, I can't explain it, but yeah. The biggest thing that I find very trying with a lot of the messages around twin flames is they talk about twin flames hurting each other, and I everything that I've learned and experienced says that isn't true. Twin flames would never purposefully cause harm to ourselves or to our twin flame. They might trigger situations that, have to be faced, but they don't do it with any bad intentions. My twin flame definitely hurt me when he pushed me away. But I also know that the words that he used weren't actually the truth. They're a way for him to push me away because he was concerned about my safety, and he wanted me to be all right. And if pushing me away from him was a way to try to control that, I guess, on his end. So he hurt me. He said words to push me away so I wouldn't keep going back, so to speak. But he would never physically cause me harm. That's just not what twin flames are about. It's like, unless there's real dysfunction in that they want to hurt themselves, so therefore they hurt you. But even that, it is not an intention, a legitimate intention for a twin flame to want to hurt their twin flame. And I guess since being in separation, the biggest thing that reminds me over and over again that this is definitely my twin flame are all the synchronicities. And that's as simple as seeing repeated numbers, 1111, all the time. His birth date, I see his birth date all the time. I see it on receipts. I see it on emails being sent. I see it on the clock. I see it so many places. It's kind of crazy. But also physical things, the physical connection that is really hard to deny, such as smelling something burning, like intensely, to the point that you search your house trying to figure out what's burning, and you not find anything, and then finding out a few days later that your twin flame had a fire at their house. Yeah, that's pretty intense. Like, they had a fire when you were smelling smoke. So that was a pretty good kick in the teeth of that. Our children, my children, definitely feel when his children are struggling. It was actually our children who brought us together in the physical form in this lifetime. It was their friendship that caused our paths to cross. And I guess the other thing that's really kind of frustrating is now that I'm trying to, just be patient and let him figure out his path and figure out his world. I'm single, so, and honestly really missing any kind of, physical relationship with another human being at this point. Honestly, I could really use a hug. But, friends have tried to set me up on dates and introduce me to other people, and it's crazy how the universe steps in and says, this isn't who you should be with, because here, let me show you. And I went out for coffee with somebody, And he's like, you don't mind if we stop at my friend so-and-so's house? And so-and-so was my twin flame's name. And I was like, excuse me? What did you say? And he's like, oh, my friend so-and-so. And I was like, yes, okay, I got the message. And to I went away with another friend just as a friend, and every single time I turned around, my twin flame's name was on something. It was on a garage that we went by, it was on a street corner. It was every time I tried to do like anything, and we were just out as friends, I was being reminded constantly of my twin flame. The synchronicities were crazy. And then the last straw, in which I figure I'm just supposed to give up on trying to have any kind of relationship outside of this twin flame relationship at this point, is that I had I had this guy ask me out, and I couldn't figure out, the schedule just wasn't working out. We couldn't make the schedules work, and with COVID, you got to be more, you got to be more proactive in making sure everybody is safe, and you're going to social distance and blah blah blah. Anyway, long story short, I was trying desperately to figure out how to make this meetup work. And my youngest come, and I was just like, oh, maybe I have a solution. So I run up, or I'm just about to text and say I have this solution, and my youngest runs down and she says, guess what, my so and so's is in my class, and it's my twin flame son is in my daughter's class. They aren't in the same school. We live in different towns. We are in the same school board, and because she's been doing virtual school, he's now joined her virtual classroom. They're not even in the same grade, but because the virtual classroom is split between two grades, he is now in her classroom. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to make this work either. I don't know. Anyway, it's the synchronicities. It's the synchronicities that every time I think, okay, well, I'll just do my thing and carry on, and somebody will pop into the picture, and then they're like, no, this is your twin flame and you need to be patient. So here I am being patient as best I can. So this, I could go on and on. The stories that I have showing how we are pulled together, honestly, I've learned so much about so many things. Even the fact that as we've grown up through going through our lives, I realized that as my family moved a lot, I moved a lot, but as we've been going through our lives as adults, and making choices on where we're going to go with, like, outside of our parents, we've kind of done this ring around the rosy. I'd go here, he'd go here. I'd go this way, he'd go this way. Maybe not right to the same spot, but we, like a magnet being pulled around the province. It's been kind of insane when you really dig down and look at it. So that is how I know, and that is how I trust. And I've done a lot of journaling, I've done a lot of journeying, I've done a lot of work with spirit, and without a doubt, it's been confirmed over and over and over again by people I don't even know, that this is most definitely a twin flame journey, and we just need to walk the path. So I hope that answers your question. And if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to write the deartwinflame@gmail.com. Until next time, I'll say to all of you, have a great day. Enjoy this spring weather. I hope you enjoyed the spring equinox. It is a big shift this spring. And to my dear twin flame, I say all my love, all my life.